Text 3. उत्साहान्निश्चयधैर्यत् तत् तत् कर्म प्रवर्तन्तं संगत्यागत सतो व्रते सद्भिर्भक्ति prasadhyati. Translation. There are six principles favorable to the execution of pure devotion service. Being enthusiastic. Second, endeavoring with confidence. Third, being patient. Fourth, acting according to regulatory principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. Fifth, abandoning the association of the non devotees. And sixth, following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. These six principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotion service. Purport. Devotion service is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. Its substance is practical activity. Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasavata Sindhu has defined devotion service as follows. Anya Vilashita Sunyam Jananan Karmadi Anavratam Anukulina Krishna Anushrinam Bhakti Ruttama. Uttama Bhakti or unalloyed devotion unto the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, involves the rendering of devotional service in a way that is favorable to the Lord. This devotion service should be free from any extraneous motive and devoid of fruitive karma, impersonal jnana, and all other selfish desires. Bhakti is a sort of cultivation. As soon as we say cultivation, means we must refer to the activity. Cultivation of spirituality does not mean sitting down idly for meditation, as some Physidio yogis teach. Such idle meditation may be good for those who have no information of devotion service, and for this reason it is sometimes recommended as a way to check distracting materialistic activities. Meditation means stopping all nonsensical activities, at least for the time being. Devotional service, however, not only puts an end to all nonsensical mundane activities but also engage one in the meaningful devotional activity. Srila Prahlad Maharaj recommend Sharanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Padasevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam, Sakham Atma Nivedanam. The nine processes of devotional service are as follows: hearing the name and glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, chanting His glories, remembering the Lord, serving the Lord's feet, worshipping the deity, offer obeisances unto the Lord, acting as a Lord's servant, making friends with the Lord, and surrendering oneself fully to the Lord. Shravanam or hearing is the first step in acquiring transcendental knowledge. One should not give oral reception to an unauthorized person, but should approach the proper person as recommended in the Bhagavad Gita. Tadavidi parnipatena paripreshena sevaya उपदिक्ष्यन्ति te jnananam jnananas tattvadarshina. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. It is further recommended in the Mundaka Upanishad. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. It is further recommended in the Mundaka Upanishad, Tad Vijnanartham Sa Guruvam Evak Vichet. To understand that transcendental science, one must approach a bona fide spiritual master. Thus, this method of submissively receiving transcendental confidential knowledge is not merely based on mental speculation. In this regard, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Rupa Goswami, Brahman Brahmite Kon Bhagavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasad Paye Bhakti Lata Bij. In the course of traversing the universal creation of Brahma, some fortunate soul may receive the seed of Bhakti Lata, the creeper of devotion service. This is all by the grace of Guru and Krishna. चैतन्य चरितमृता मध्य लीला में The material world is a place of confinement for the living entities who are by nature anandamaya, pleasure seeking. They actually want to be free from the confinement of this world of conditional happiness, but not knowing the process of liberation. They are bound to transmigrate from one species of life to another and from one planet to another. In this way, the living entities are wandering throughout the material universe. When by good fortune one comes in contact with a pure devotee and hears from him patiently, one begins to follow the path of devotion service. Such an opportunity is offered to a person who is sincere. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness is giving us such a chance to humanity at large. If by fortune one takes advantage of this opportunity to engage in devotion service, the path of liberation immediately opens. One should accept this opportunity to return home back to Godhead very enthusiastically. Without enthusiasm, one cannot be successful. Even in the material world, one has to do very enthusiastic in his particular field of activity in order to become successful. A student, a businessman, artist, or anyone else who wants success in this line must be enthusiastic. Similarly, one has to be very enthusiastic in devotional service. Enthusiasm means action, but action for whom? The answer is that one should always act for Krishna. Krishna artha kaile chetsa. In all phases of life, one has to perform devotional activity under the direction of the spiritual master in order to attain perfection in Bhakti Yoga. It is not that one has to confine or narrow one's activity. Krishna is all pervading, therefore, nothing is independent of Krishna, as Krishna himself states in the Bhagavad Gita. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina matasthani sarvabhutani na chaham teshu avastita. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are me, but I am not in them. Under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master, one has to make everything favorable for Krishna service. For example, at present we are using a dictaphone. The materialist who invented this machine intended it for businessmen or writers of mundane subject matters. He certainly never thought of using this dictaphone in God's service, but we are using this dictaphone to write Krishna conscious literature. Of course, the manufacture of the dictaphone is wholly within the energy of Krishna. All the parts of the instrument, including electronic function, are made from the different combination and interaction of the five basic types of material energy, namely Bhumi, Jal, Agni, Vayu, Akash. The inventor used his brain to make this complicated machine, and his brain as well as the ingredients are supplied by Krishna. According to the statement of Krishna, Mat Sthani Sarvabhutani, everything is dependent on my energy. Thus, the devotee can understand that since nothing is independent of Krishna energy, everything should be devoted in his service. Endeavor executed with intelligence in Krishna consciousness is called utsa or enthusiasm. The devotees find the correct means by which everything can be utilized in the service of the Lord. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha Yuktam Viragyam Uchyate. The execution of devotion service is not a matter of idle meditation but practically action in the foreground of spiritual life. This activity must be executed with patience. One should not be impatient in Krishna consciousness. Indeed, this Krishna consciousness movement was started single-handedly, and in the beginning there was no response. But because we are continued to execute our devotion service with patience, people gradually began to understand the importance of this movement. Now they are eagerly participating. One should not be impatient in discharging devotional service, but should take instruction from the spiritual master and execute them with patience, depending on the mercy of Guru and Krishna. The successful execution of Krishna consciousness activity requires both patience and confidence. A newly married girl naturally expects offering from her husband, but she cannot expect to have them immediately after marriage. Of course, as soon as she is married, she can attempt to get a child, but she must surrender to her husband, confident that her child will develop and be born in the due time. Similarly, in devotion service, surrender means that one has to become a confident. The devotee thinks, Avasya Raksha Bhi Krishna. Krishna will surely protect me and give me help for the successful execution of devotional service. This is called confidence. As already explained, one should not be idle, but should be very enthusiastic about executing the regulative principles. Tata tata karma parvartana. Neglect of the regulative principle will destroy devotional service. In this Krishna consciousness movement, there are four basic regulative principles: forbidding illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. A devotee must be very enthusiastic about following these principles. If he becomes slack in following any one of them, his progress will be certainly be checked. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore recommends Tatatata Karma Paravartanat. One must strictly follow the regulative principle of Vedi Bhakti. In addition to this four prohibition, Yama, there are positive regulation principle, Niyama, such as the daily chanting of the 16 rounds on Japamala reds. This regulatory activity must be faithful, performed with enthusiasm. This is called Tatatata Karma Paravartana or varied engagement in devotional service. Furthermore, in order to be successful in devotional service, one must give up the association of the undesirable people. This includes karmis, jnanis, yogis, and other non devotees. Once Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asked by one of his householder devotees about the general principle of Vaishnavism as well as the general routine activities of the Vaishnav, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately replied, Asata Sangat Yag, Hey Vaishnava Ashara. Characteristically, a Vaishnava is one who gives up the association of worldly people or non devotees. Srila Narottama Das Thakur has therefore recommended Tandere Charane Sevi Bhakti Senavas. One has to live in the company of pure devotees and execute the regulative principles laid down by the previous acharyas. The six Goswamis, namely Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Jeev Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. If one lives in the association of the devotees, there is a little chance of associating with the non devotees. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness is opening many centers just to invite people to live in the company of devotees and practice the regulative principle of spiritual life. Devotional service means transcendental activities. On the transcendental platform, there is no contamination by three modes of the material nature. This is called Vishuddha Sat Tattva, the platform of pure goodness, or goodness free from contamination of the quality of passion and ignorance. In this Krishna consciousness movement, we are required everyone to rise early in the morning by 4 a.m. and attend Mangal Aarti or morning worship, then read Srimad Bhagavatam, perform Kirtan, and so forth. Thus, we hold continuous activity in devotion service 24 hours daily. This is called Satovritti, or following in the footsteps of Privacharya, who expertly filled every moment of time with Krishna consciousness activities. If one strictly follow the advice given in this verse by Srila Rupa Goswami, namely being enthusiastic, being confident, being patient, giving up the association of the unwanted person, following the regulative principles, and remaining in the association of the devotees, one is sure to advance in the devotional service. In this regard, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur remarks that the cultivation of knowledge by philosophical speculation, the collection of mundane opulence by the advancement of fruitive activities, and the desire for yoga siddhis, material perfection, are all contrary to the principle of devotional service. One has to become thoroughly callous to such non permanent activities and turn his attention instead to the regularity principle of devotional service. According to the Bhagavad Gita, या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्याम जगरति सामयामि यस्याम जगरति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुनः. What is night for all the beings is the time of awakening for the self-controlled, and the time of the awakening for all the beings in this night for the introspective stage. Engagement in the devotional service of the Lord is the life and soul of the living entity. It is the desired goal and supreme perfection of human life. One has to become confident about this, and one also has to be confident that all the activities other than the devotional service, such as mental speculation, fruitive work, or mystic endeavor, will never yield any enduring benefit. Complete confidence in the path of the devotional service will enable one to attain his desired goal, and attempting to follow other paths will only succeed in making one restless. In the seventh canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated, one must be calmly convinced that those who have given up devotional service to engage in sheer austerity for other purposes are not purified in their minds despite their advanced austerities because they have no information of the transcendental loving service of the Lord. It is further stated in the seventh canto, although mental speculators and fruitive actors may perform great austerities and penances, they still fall down because they do not have the information of the lotus feet of the Lord. The devotees of the Lord, however, never fall down. In Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Personality of Godhead assured Arjuna, Kaunteya pratijani na me bhaktya panishyati. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Again in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Naha bhi karamo, naha bhi karma nashosti प्रत्ययावयो न विद्यते स्वल्पम अपि अस्या धर्मस्य त्रायते महातो भयात. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution. A little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Devotional service is so pure and perfect that once having begun, one is forcefully dragged to the ultimate success. Sometimes a person will give up his ordinary material engagement and out of sentiment take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord and thus begin the preliminary execution of devotion services. Even if such an immature devotee falls down, there is no loss on his part. On the other hand, what is the gain of one who executes the prescribed duties according to his varn and ashram, but does not take to devotion service? Although a fallen devotee may take his next birth in the low family, his devotion service will nonetheless resume from where he is left off. Devotion service is ahutaki aprityaha. It is not the effect of any mundane cause, nor can be terminated by any mundane cause or permanently curtailed by any material interruption. Therefore, devotee should be confident about his engagement and should not be very interested in the activities of karmis, jnanis, and yogis. There are certainly many good qualities among fruitive actors, philosophical speculators, and mystic yogi, but all the good qualities automatically develop in the character of the devotee. No extraneous endeavor is needed. As confirmed by the Srimad Bhagavatam, all the good qualities of the demigods manifest progressively in one who is developed pure devotion service. Because the devotee is not interested in any material activity, he does not become materially contaminated. He is immediately situated on the platform of transcendental life. However, one who is engaged in mundane activity be he is a so-called Janani, yogi, karmi, philanthropist, nationalist, or whatever, cannot attain the higher stage of Mahatma. He remains Durmatma, a cripple-minded person according to the Bhagavad Gita. महात्मनास्तु मां फर्ता देवीं प्रकृतिमाश्रिता भजन्ति अन्यमनसो ज्ञाता ज्ञात्वा भूतादिम अव्ययम्. O son of Pratha, those who are not diluted, the great souls are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Since all the devotees of the Lord are under the protection of His supreme potency, they should not deviate from the path of devotional service and take to the path of karmi, jnani or yogis. This is called utsahan, nishchayan, dharyat, tat tat karma pravattanat. Enthusiastically executing the regulatory principles or activities of devotional service with patience and confidence. In this way, one can advance in devotional service without hindrance. Chapter 4.